In this video, we'll look at the SumIf function, which is a function that allows us to add together numbers based on certain criteria. So in this example, we've got a list of spending for the month of March for an office, and we want to work out things like how much money was spent on milk, coffee, tea, etc., how much money was spent at the two different stores where they shop, and how much was spent as cash versus on the debit card. So we'll start with the milk one. So if we say equals SumIf, then you can see here it says range, criteria, and sum range. So the first two parts are the range and the criteria that we want to look at. Then it's the number that we want to add up. So we want to look at the items that are being purchased, and we're going to make this an absolute reference so that we can then reuse this formula and simply copy it down there. So I'm going to press F4 to turn that on. Then I'm going to type a comma, and then our criteria is given to us here as milk. We could also manually type it in, but then we wouldn't be able to reuse the formula as easily. Then another comma. Then we want to add up the amounts. So we're going to select the amounts column, and we're also going to apply absolute referencing there so that we can reuse this formula and that so the range doesn't move. And I'm going to close my bracket and press enter. And we can see that 302 Rand was spent on milk. Now we can use autofill, drag this down, and it should do the calculations for us. You can see immediately that one of their largest expenditures was milk. If we double click, we can see that it has copied down the formula correctly and is now checking coffee against the two columns. Then we can do the same for the supermarket, equals SumIf. The range in this case is the shop column, also absolute referenced. The criteria is the shop that they went to, and the sum range again is the amount. And that's also going to be absolute referenced so that we can reuse this formula going down. Okay, and then finally, similar thing, equals SumIf, and we want to look at the payment method. Also absolute reference that range, criteria is cash, and the sum range is the amount again. Also absolute referenced. And then close brackets and done. And we'll copy that down for the debit card. You can see it's picked it up there. I'm going to quickly add the AverageIf function here, as it's very similar to SumIf, except of course you're getting an average of the values instead of a total of the values. So we're very quickly going to look at the average of the amount spent at supermarket versus the corner cafe. So again, it's the same sort of story. We want AverageIf. The range is the shop that's been used. I'm going to absolute reference it so I can copy it down. The criteria is the supermarket, and the range, average range, is going to be this cost here. And also absolute reference that, and it should give us the average of the cost of items at the supermarket. Yeah, it was 2606, and if we copy it down for the corner cafe, average cost of items bought at the corner cafe was a little bit higher. And that's AverageIf, just very quickly.